Hello and welcome to this latest episode of Final Girl, in which we are going to be playing through another season 3 feature film. On behalf of our friends over at Zatu, we're doing some playthroughs for their product pages. This is a copy that I got through the Kickstarter myself, but producing these videos for those guys because, well, they're my favourite board game shop where I get most of my stuff. So I'm more than happy to put some playthroughs on their site. And, if one or two of their customers comes over to be viewers over here, win-win. Today, as I say, we're going to be playing the Marrek Murders, which is based on Saw. So I will get straight into things. If you don't know how to play Final Girl, there's plenty of playthrough videos that you can access through this playlist, or just head over to YouTube and check them out. There will be links to all the products in our video description today. If you'd like to see any more playthroughs, just give us a subscribe, maybe. Thank you very much. Let's see what we're playing. So this is us set up for the Marrek Murders. Bit different as a feature film. All of these season 3 episodes, if you like, are very distinctive. I've not played them all yet. I've read through the rules. This is my first time playing against the Tormentor. Now, I'll be playing Mandy today, is the final girl. So Mandy is clearly based on Amanda. When she's rescuing, she needs to rescue 5 victims to go to ultimate mode. She can heal health for one. She can gain time, reduce horror, move a space, and move a space. And when she flips, she basically adds 2 damage to attacks made without a weapon or item. And she can't use it with reaction cards, though. So she's kind of got a built-in weapon when she's attacking. So that seems quite fun. We have the Tormentor, as I said. Let's see if we can go a bit closer. So the Tormentor starts with 7 health, horror level 3, as you can see. It's really short track for Bloodlust for going up to ultimate mode when we get there, although it doesn't actually tell us at the top of the track that we instantly go to ultimate mode, so there may be a different trigger. We'll find out. There are a couple of different things for this one. So first things first, because it's Saw, there's obviously traps. We have victim traps and we have Final Girl traps. We have set up and we have got units per hour as our setup. Now you can see there's a killer, but it's slightly different for the Marrek Murders. The killer, the Tormentor, as with the film, isn't actually going to be on the board until the finale, so you can't hurt them until you get to a certain point, which we'll work out shortly. So instead, what we're to do is take the killer off the board, and we are to introduce a new victim. However, that victim is already caught in a trap at the start of the game. So we are going to draw a random trap. These have all been shuffled. And the victim is in a drowning tank. It's not very nice. We've woken up in this warehouse. You can see the exits are all locked. There are 3 places to search. There's the supply cage, the manager's office, and the receiving area. In the supply cage, we have a knife, clearly for cutting open those cardboard boxes. There's a trash can lid at the receiving area for the wrap. And there's a list of things in there. And then we roll a dice to see where they are in the manager's office. So there you go. That's the setup. There are also these racks, which you need to take separate cards for. So complete with this feature film for this location, you have climb and leap cards. Climb allows you to go onto the red packing shelves. Hopefully you can see that they're red. And leap allows you to jump between them. Now, to acquire these cards, you discard a walk or a sprint to take it. It's free to discard, and then you just basically swap in it. So that's that. I've tried to leave a little bit more space than usual. So the tableau of our action cards is going to be out of view. That's so that these traps have somewhere to live. The only other thing that we've included is we have drawn a random signature action, which is from the box props, along with the deluxe tokens. We've got a kick. So the kick is, I think that might actually be from the season 3 special features. But regardless, there's all different add-ons that you can get for this game, but there are stacks of signature actions in the box of props. But the kick, in effect, just allows you to do some damage. You can't combine it with a weapon, but I think it'll work quite well with Amanda. So we're pretty lucky to have drawn this one. Costs 3. And yeah, we're hopefully going to kick this Tormentor. Now, as you'll see, it's Jigsaw in this one, or the equivalent of Jigsaw, is a female version, which leads me to believe it's Amanda. So we've got Amanda and Amanda. So, yeah, you let me know what's what. Anyway, back to traps. That's all you want to see. So we have a trap. So we know that this lady is in a trap. So what we need to do is replace her on the board with a token for the specific trap. So in this case, the drowning pool, or the drowning tank, drowning pool. That's altogether different bodies hitting the floor. So we stick her on the start spot on the track there, and when we get this icon, which is a bear trap with an exclamation point, I'll maybe work out how to put it on screen. When that triggers through terror cards or on the killer's turn, we need to move her along, and each time there's a different result. And the final the fail result at the end is if she dies. She dies when she gets to this site, this point here. So to get her out of the drowning tank, each trap's going to be different. I've not looked at them. But first we have to unlatch and open the lid, which is going to cost us 5 time. Then we have to pull the victim free. So we have to move a space and do 2 time. So how we move, we can play a walk card, or we could rescue a victim and use the free move space. Not that we can there, but anything that allows you to move will allow you to satisfy the conditions there. We'll show you as we go. So the water is rising. I don't think any additional explanation is needed. So that's that. It's all pretty simple, I think. We're going to play through. If I make any mistakes, I'll try during editing. If they're identified during editing, I'll put them down here somewhere. And if I make mistakes, just check the comments in the video and you'll see them. So yes, there we go. We then need to draw an event card. So our event today is scatter. So run for your lives. We have to panic all victims. So let's go for it. We'll start on, this is going to be tricky to remember. We will start at the top. So we'll go with this lady. Okay, so there's the scattering of victims. Some have climbed up onto this rack. People have run about the place. 1 or 2. If there isn't, like for example in the manager's office, if you roll a 1 or a 2, they'll just not flee out of the space. They obviously try and find somewhere safe to hide. So yeah, there you go. 2 have gone down to try and get the girl out of the drowning tank, which is quite useful because when you're making rolls to try and do things, you get an extra dice if there are any untrapped victims in the space. So there we go. That is set up. Don't believe there's anything additional. So we take our free cards. We have our walks, focus, weak attack, short rest, and the other focus. First things first, let's try and get these down. So we'll play a focus. I'll try and remember to pop these things down. So because we're in the white zone, we get 2 dice. We get 1 success and a half success. I'm going to use my short rest and weak attack to turn that into a success. So I get 2 successes. The 2 successes, I can reduce the horror by 1. Sorry about the glare there. Hang on. Okay, hopefully there's a little less glare there. So there we go. So for 2 successes, we can reduce the horror by 1 and gain 2 time. So we reduce the horror by 1 and we gain 2 time. Okay, then we'll go for another focus. So I could convert using my 2 walks, but I don't really want to use my walks there. So that would give me reduce the horror for 1 time, or I can just lose 2 time. So you know what? I'm just going to lose the 2 time. Then I'm going to try for a walk. We get 2 successes, which is we can move up to 2 spaces for 1 time. So let's move ourselves over to this victim. 1, we'll take somebody with us, so that's 2. So I have 1 walk left, but first we have to unlatch and open the tank lid, which is going to cost us 5 time. We do have 6. So, you know, we could do this straight away. Should we try? I think we'll try. So we're going to spend 5 time, taking us down to 1, and we're going to unlatch the lid. So there we go. And then I'm going to try and walk, because we need to pull the victim 3. Oh no, this is going to take 2 time. We haven't got the 2 time. So we can't do the pulling the victim 3 at this point. So we'll just keep hold of our walk card. We only have 1 time. So all we can do is buy a close call for... Sorry about that, you're off camera. For 1 time. And then we will put our used cards back in the tableau to get back next turn. And that ends our first turn. So, we go back up to 6. And we move to the killer phase. So, we resolve the killer action, draw a terror card. Now, the killer action is simply to progress the trap. So when we progress the trap, we move all victims in a trap 1 space along. So she's going to move across, which is we're going to lose 1 time. So that puts our time down. And that's that. So we draw a terror card. Tick tock, speed up the clock. So it says if no victims are trapped, we have to place the card on the bottom of the terror deck. However, there are, so we have to progress again. So she clicks 1 more space along, which costs us another 2 time, and that is that discarded. Move her over slightly so we've got a discard pile. Okay, we may end up with quite a bit of clutter here, but we'll work it out. Okay, so that is the end of her turn. The Tormentor, so it comes back to us. Now we've only got 3 time, but we're going to walk for hours because we're going to try and pull this victim free. So we would be rolling 2 dice because that's where we are. However, because there are untrapped victims in the same space, 3 of them, we are going to be able to roll 3 dice. So hopefully we get to move. Oh dear. Thankfully, we've got a close call. So for 2, oh no, we can't do that, because if we spend 2 to re-roll all of our dice, we'll only have 1 left, and we need 2 to free this victim. So we can re-roll any 1 dice using this card for free. So we're just going to re-roll this dice and hope for a success. And we don't get it. So, however, we can take the fail, which says we can move up to 1 space for a time. So we can move for a time, so we'll do that. Then we move 1 space and 2 time, which allows us to pull the victim out of the trap. Progress that to there. Hopefully that makes sense. So we've satisfied both conditions. When we satisfy both conditions, we place the victim back on the relevant space, and we remove the trap token and the trap card, and we discard it. So that trap isn't coming back in this game. However, what that has done is left us with 0 time, which isn't ideal. However, we do get our free cards back, so the cards from the first turn that we'd spent. I'm going to zoom out slightly for a little while so you get a better idea of what's going on. So they come back to hand. This goes back to 6. That goes into our cards to come back. This is the tableau over by. Okay, that's okay. So we go to the killer phase. The Tormentor simply progresses traps. There aren't any traps, thankfully. Don't know how new traps even come out. I'm thinking it's through these terror cards. Let's see. Live or die. So, if there are no victims on the board, discard. Well, there are. A victim in the space with the most victims, if tied furthest from you, is now trapped. So we have to... Crikey. So the one with the most victims is our space yet again. This could go bad. So we have to trap a victim. Okay, so temple drills. Okay. So in order to disarm this trap, first we have to figure out the mechanism for 4 time. Then we have to disarm the mechanism by doing 2 damage and moving a space, which is quite tricky. And this is going to do different things as it progresses. Yeah, so we'll take this chap onto the start. We find our temple drills token, which goes onto our space. Now we could. I'd never played this, so I don't know if the best thing to do is just keep rescuing people, or what, or find items. So I'm just gonna keep rescuing people, I think. Thankfully we are back up to 6. So let's figure out the mechanism. That'll cost us 4, so we go back down to 2. The first condition is satisfied. Now, I couldn't spend 2 and then 2 in the next turn. You have to do it all in 1 action phase. So now we have to do 2 damage and move a space. So I've only got a weak attack, and that only does 1. I've not flipped in any way, so that means I'm going to have to get some kind of a damage card. So I think what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to focus. I get a success, so for 1 time I reduce horror. That's good. So now I'm up to my 3 dice. However, I've only got the 1 time, which isn't ideal. So what I think I'm going to do is spend... I'm going to end my turn, and I'm going to cash in some cards. So for a Furious Strike, I need 4. I have 1, so I'm going to cash in Weak Attack, Focus, and Short Rest. No. I'm going to keep Weak Attack. I'm going to because I know there's a walk coming back to me, so I'm going to cash in those 3, which are worth 1 point a time each. Puts me up to 4. So Now I'm left with just a weak attack. However, I'm going to spend my 4, and I'm going to get this Furious Strike. And I also get my walk back, which was there from last turn. So going into next turn, I'm going to have 2 cards to damage with and 1 to move with. Hopefully, that should allow me to disarm the mechanism on the temple drills. So I shall refill the tableau. My time goes back up. We go to the killer phase. So the Tormentor progresses the trap. The trap advances, which increases horror. Okay, terror. See how terrifying all this is. Let's play a game. Okay, a victim that matches the first applicable condition is now trapped. Okay, so the search location furthest from me. So there's only one in a search location. But the one furthest from me is... So there's nobody in those. The next criteria is just in a search space. Now there's only this one in a search space. So they're going to get trapped. So we draw another victim trap. And it's a guillotine. Well, that goes into the manager's office. This chap comes out. Goes on to the start. So for this one, it's similar to the other. First of all, we have to figure out the mechanism for 3. Then we have to disarm it by doing 2 damage and moving 2 spaces. This is going to get pretty nasty. Pretty quick, isn't it? But we can only do 1 at a time. I'm just going to focus on rescuing people and then see what happens. Right, so it comes back to us. We are going to try to disarm this mechanism. So first things first, we're going to do a Furious Strike, which we get 2 dice because we're in the white. We get an extra 1 because there are untrapped victims on our space. So ideally we want 2 successes here, which will reduce the horror and do 2 damage. Now we get 1, which isn't enough, because 1 will do 1 damage, but we have to do 2 for the trap. Now, if I trade in my only 2 cards to make it 2 successes, it'll mean we can't then move a space. So it's basically a fail, which is really bad, because that's 4 time. So we're just going to take the 1, which does 1 damage, but it reduces the horror and it ends our turn. So that isn't ideal, but we've got 6 time to spend. No, we'll go for a critical blow. We get our 3 cards back. Furious Strike goes back in the tableau. We go to the killer phase. In the killer phase, the traps progress. So this one progresses first, which reduces our time by 1. Then the other one progresses. Well, you progress them all at once, but you have to resolve all of them, and that is going to increase the horror. Right. Terror card. Live or die. A victim in the space with the most victims is now trapped. Oh my goodness. This is wild. I did not expect this many traps. I don't know if this is normal or if I've just shuffled things badly. It's swinging blades. I'm going to move these off camera just so that you can see the active traps. I didn't think there'd be quite so many traps, if I'm honest. So for this one, we have to spend 5 time to time it. Then we have to cut the ropes for 2 damage. Then we have to dive to safety for 2 spaces. Crikey. Right, let's see what happens. It's pretty horrifying. There's a lot of pressure on here. Do you think we should do some focusing first? Get us an extra dice? I think we should. Okay, 2 successes means we reduce the horror and gain 2 time. That's nice. Right, let's do this. So, I'm going to go for a walk first, which is going to be 3 dice for me, plus there's an untrapped victim. So we're going to be rolling 4 dice. Oh, you're joking. Look at that. So I'm going to give up my weak attack and short rest. No. I'm just going to lose a... Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of my weak attack and short rest. Let's turn one of those into a success. Oh no. I need to be able to move 2. And then I'm going to have to give up my focus and walk. Turn another one. So that we get 2, which allows us to move 2 spaces. Oh no, we only have to move 1 space. Backtrack. It's 2 damage we have to do. Okay, so we've got our move 1 space. That criteria is met. Okay. So that was move 1 space for 1 time. There's the time. Okay. Now, critical blow. Same again. I have 3 dice plus 1 because somebody's helping me. Come on. Okay, definitely. So we do 3 damage and reduce the horror. So that is enough to free the chap from his temple drills. He comes out. Temple drills go away, thankfully. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That's 2 traps disarmed. We should get a bonus for disarming traps. I suppose we don't get the bad things happening. Right, now, the swinging blades. We could time the blades now, spend our 5, but it might be better to spend our time getting the stuff to do the damage instead. So I'll do that. So I'll stop with 6 time. I'm going to pick up a Furious Strike for 4. Leaves me with 2. I think I'll take a Sprint for 2. Okay. We'll put these other ones away. Put our time back up. Right then, so in hand, we have a Furious Strike, a Focus, a Walk, and a Sprint. Right then, we go to the killer. We advance the traps. So, let's put these guys here. So the swinging blades, they advance, which increases the horror. The guillotine advances, which also increases the horror. Oh, that guillotine may be the first one to go through. I don't think I'm going to get there fast enough. We'd have to do 3 and then do some damage. I suppose I could do that. It's just I have to move 2 to get there. I don't have to move. Oh yeah, I do have to move. So tricky this. This is a lot more thinking than I'm used to in my life. Okay, so let's try and get this lassie out. So first off, we are going to spend 5 to work out the timings. Then we're going to try to cut the rope. But before that, we're going to focus. Let's focus a little bit. Try and get an extra dice. We get 1 success, which reduces the horror. Costs us a time. We're okay. Even though we're on 0, we're not on the X, which ends our turn. Right, so now we are going to Furious Strike. We get 3 dice, plus 1 for untrapped victims. So that's 4. Okay, so we get 2 successes, which does 2 damage and reduces the horror, which cuts the ropes. So now we just have to move her to safety. So It's 2 spaces, which would take 2 successes. Let's go with a sprint. So we're on 3, plus we get 1 for the victim assisting us. We get 1 success, which allows us to move 2 spaces, but costs us a time. So the 2 spaces is us diving to victory. So we rescue her. So she comes back out. I think we've been quite successful there. I'm just going to double check that I am supposed to be getting that extra dice. It will cost us a time, which will end our turn. So we have no time to spend. We've only got a walk in hand. We do get our free cards back, which means we have a walk, short rest, weak attack, and focus. I'm just going to double check that rule about victims helping. Okay, so just looking at it, it says work together. If at least one untrapped victim is in the space with you, you may add +1 dice to your horror rolls when resolving action cards towards completing escape tasks. If there are multiple untrapped victims, you can still only add +1. Okay, so I'm wondering how we get to the finale. I think it's when the terror cards are all done. So, yeah. Getting there. Right, that's the end of our turn. So it goes to the Tormentor, which progresses... Well, this goes back up to 6. It progresses the trap, which increases horror by 2. So this guy has only got 1 turn. Looking at it before we draw our terror card, I have got 2 walks and a weak attack. I just don't physically have a way to stop that trap. There's only so much one person can do. Terror. Faulty construction. Choose a death trap in play. Mark the next escape task as completed without having to fulfill its requirements. So, figure out the mechanism. Still doesn't help us though, because we still have to do 2 damage and move 2 spaces. It's a shame. If we were there and we'd already done that top one, that would have been really useful. And then we progress the Bloodlust. So this goes up. And we have to discard a random action card. So we'll just shuffle those. And we'll discard that walk. Right, so it comes to us. Maybe I need to go in there and do some searching. A weapon might be good. So I don't know how I'm going to possibly rescue these victims with all the doors locked. I was imagining some of these terror cards. Well, there are terror cards in there that I had to put in that I think control the automated locks. So maybe we'll get one soon. Okay, so I think first of all I'll focus. That's a fail, so we lose 2 time. So I've got a short rest, a walk, and a weak attack. I think I'm just gonna hold. And I'm going to use my 4 time to... I think I'd like to just... Because I seem to have to do damage on all these traps, I'm going to get Furious Strike back into hand. That'll be all my 4. I'll take my free card, my focus that's there, and then the other ones go back into the tableau. So we're sitting on weak attack, short rest, walk, Furious Strike, and focus. Okay, so we progress. Our first victim goes to the end. It kills him, so a fail result is discard 1 action card. Oh, this is where it gets my bloody Furious Strike, isn't it? Nope, it's a focus. Okay, so that's him dead, which puts the Bloodlust up by 1. The guillotine comes out of the game, but we'll leave the token there because anybody that goes into that space with a completed trap, any victims will panic because they obviously see what's left of poor Jimmy No Trousers. That's not weird. If you've watched some of our earlier videos, you know that Jimmy No Trousers semi-regular appearer in these. Anyway, I digress. Terror. Click. There it is. So loading dock B is now unlocked. That's this one. Click. So that's good to know. Then we draw an event. Heroic best friend. So replace the victim of my choice with best friend. The best friend cannot be saved unless there are no other victims on the board. If you take damage and the best friend is in your space or an adjacent space, they move to your space and take the damage instead. If the best friend leaves play, discard this card. Okay. So we have a best friend. Let's get the best friend out. Okay, so we're going to say that the best friend is here. It can be that person that we've just saved from a trap. How about that? So there's our best friend. I'll leave that there so I know what's going on. She's heroic. And then we draw the next terror card. That's the next item on the card. You don't deserve to live. Okay. A victim that matches the first applicable condition below is now trapped. In the exit space furthest from me. So there's nobody in an exit space. In an exit space? No. In a space adjacent to an exit. There's one there. There's one here. So there's two of those. And I'm going to say the one furthest away is the one that it'll be. So that one's only 2 away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be this guy. Gets trapped. I think taking the one furthest away is it's the appropriate way of doing it. So it makes it harder to rescue them. So it's the reverse bear trap. It's the original, the classic. That fella. He doesn't have a name yet. He goes there. So it's a very quick one. Tick, tick, tick. First, we have to find the key, which will cost 4. And then we have to unlock the mechanism, which is going to cost 4. So, okay. We can do that. I'm sure my best friend and I can do that. So let's get to it. Well, we only have a walk, unfortunately. We're going to saunter over to him very, 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 very casual like. So we need to get to... well, we don't even have a focus. So yeah, let's walk. We only have 2 dice. It's 1 success, which allows us to move 1 space for a time. So I'm going to take my best friend and myself. We'll go to the center there, to the pit. We're taking an additional person. That's a forklift truck, by the way, in the middle. I think that the forklift truck keys are an item, potentially in the deck. Okay. So I've got a short rest, a weak attack, and a furious strike, which is of no use. So we'll end our turn there with 5. We'll take our focus and walk back from the free items. And we'll go with... What do we need to unlock this? Time. Okay, we'll go with a sprint. And I'm going to go for a distraction. For 3. And that is us. So we've got a distraction, a sprint, focus, walk, short rest, weak attack, furious strike. Now we do have an exit. We can start getting people out, but I would like to save this guy. It goes to the Tormentor. Tick, tick, tick. Ooh. It's coming down. Terror card. Click. Loading dock A is now unlocked. That's good. Event card. The trucks are here. Place one new victim on each loading dock. Don't know why the cheerleaders are the ones to come to the loading docks. Well, there you go. And then we draw the next terror card. Click. The main entrance is now unlocked. Oh, they've all opened at once. Then draw the next terror card. Oh, this could be bad, couldn't it? We have to help. All victims will move one space towards the nearest death trap. Okay, so there's the nearest death trap. That's nice. What's that? There's a lot of people here. Let's hopefully get a few of them out now that the things are open. So, first things first, let's sprint. Maybe I should focus first. I'm going to focus first. Yeah, because if I get 2 successes, I'll reduce the horror twice. Oh no, that's distraction. Go with a distraction. We get 1.5. So I'll get rid of my short rest and weak attack. Turn it into 2 successes. Which means we reduce the horror by 2 and gain 2 time. That could be handy for getting him out. Okay. Then we're going to sprint. Now we've got 3. Let's get there. Oh! That's bad. That's so bad. So I can choose. I have nothing to reroll. I can choose to take a damage, lose 2 time, move a space, and end my turn. Or I can lose a health and lose 2 time, but not move. I'm not going to get there. Oh, I had all that time. This was our moment to shine. Oh. Always have a close call, people. What do we do? I think I'm going to lose a health. Move a space. I'm going to take 2 people with me. Lose 2 time. And end my turn. So I've got 6 to spend. I get my freebies back. I'm going to take a sprint for 2. All left. I'm going to take a 2 close calls. I'm not getting stuck without again. And take a guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is the maximum hand size, so we're all good. I'll put the cards back in. Oh, that was painful. So it goes to the Tormentor, who advances the trap, which is 2 horror. It's getting pretty terrifying for him. And then we get a terror card. Now this could be the end of him. We have to help again. Okay, everybody moves 1 space towards them. That's good. Everybody's going here, right next to the end for me. Okay. Yeah. They're being very helpful. Look at all this. I've never seen so many people down there. Right, it comes to us. We've got to do this. Right, sprint. Come on. We just get 2, though. We've got this. We've got this. We've got this. 2. We move 3 spaces for 1 time. So I'm going to go 1, 2. Just like that. Okay. That's the start. I think I've moved that time down. So I've got 5. Oh, we haven't got time. 4 for the key. 4 for the mechanism. We've only got 5 in total. He's gonna die. So I think with my last move, I'm going to move to here. I'm going to get 2 out. Because I had an extra move. I didn't have to stop there. So I will... First one, I will maybe gain a time. I can't gain more than 1 though, unfortunately. And then I'm going to reduce the horror. Then I'm going to walk. Just try and get everybody out. Oh, come on. Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 close calls to turn 1 into a success, and a guard and a focus to turn the other one, which allows me to move 2 spaces for a time. I'm going to move 1, and grab another 2 victims, 2. I'm going to put 1 on move 1 space, and 1 on move another space. So I'm going to go 1, grab another 2 victims, and then with a second space, move back. Put the first one on healer health, get my health back. Then she flips. Mandy. And then for the second one, I get a time. So it's just my best friend on that space now. Just... There was nothing I could do, unfortunately. And then I think I am going to use my last walk as well. No. I'll take a fail. And just lose 2 time. Okay. That is us. We've got Furious Strike and Focus left, but we have flipped to Ultimate Mandy. We go to the Tormentor. Goes to the end. Kills the victim. Fail result is increase the horror. So that's a dead person. So the bloodlust increases, which triggers the dark power. Overkill traps. When a victim is killed by a death trap, you and each victim in the space take a damage. Oof. Thankfully, that doesn't count to that one, or else best friend would have died. Did I spend my 4? I think I just went straight on, didn't I? I got all excited. So I'll take a sprint for 2. And I'm going to take a guard for 2. No, actually, I'm going to take a search for 2. Right then, sorry about that. So I have search, sprint, focus, furious strike. If I messed something up there, it was just because the absolute pressure of it was getting to me, so apologies. Right, so we're going to panic our... Oh no, panic is after the terror card. Sorry. Tick-tock, speed up the clock. If no victims are tracked, bottom the card and draw the next terror card. Well, that's the case. Both, we've only got 1. Faulty construction. If no one is tracked, bottom the card and draw the next terror card. So what happens when you're in a cycle like this, where both of them are telling you to bottom it, is it just says to discard them. And so because we've discarded them, at the end of the turn, we're going to get the finale. So, now we panic our best friend. She runs 5, which is up there. And I need to just now do the epic finale. The ultimate trap. Let's get this up here so you can see. So, the ultimate trap. She's now going to progress traps, target the closest, walk, attack, attack. When revealed, if you are not currently in a death trap, resolve a final girl death trap. Oh no, I'm going in a trap. The Tormentor considers you as a valid target for movement and can attack you when you are in a death trap. So now she's going to come onto the board. So let's see where she comes. The way we see where she comes is we have to take the setup cards that we haven't used. We randomize these. and she comes there. So the killer, the Tormentor, is here. So she will be targeting moving. Now she does only move one because she's not progressed that far. I'm quite happy with that. Might have been good focusing all our attention that way. However, now we're in a death trap. So we have to pick a final girl death trap. Here they are. I'll give those a shuffle. Let's see which one we get. A razor maze. Okay, so let's put ourselves, should we put ourselves right there? The razor maze. So I believe we do the same as we would normally. So place that down. We go on the start. Okay, so first we have to move one space, then we have to move 2 spaces, then 1 space. Each turn we're going to lose a health and then we're killed. So we have got a sprint, but we have to move carefully, so I couldn't roll a 3 and then move 1 then 2. I think I have to do it as individual actions. So this is pretty bad. Look at this. I'm in a trap. It's quite exciting. Okay. So it does come to us. It is the grand finale, the ultimate trap. So what we're going to do, I think we can still focus. Let me just check what you're allowed to do while you're in a trap. While trapped, you may not play reaction cards, search, or perform attacks on enemies. So I can still focus. So I think I'll do that first. It'd be quite nice. Oh, shoot, no, we'll save that. We'll sprint first. That's our priority, isn't it? We'll go for a sprint. I'm actually going to move the razor mace to here. Don't think any more victims are going to get put in traps, though, because there's no more cards, and that's where they were getting put. So she's just going to start chopping them up now. Right, we're going to sprint. Come on. Okay, we get 1 success, which allows us to move 2 spaces for 1 time. Now, our requirement is first carefully move a space. So for a time, do that, and we move a space. Well, that's good. I'm going to move these out of the way. We don't need those anymore, do we? These, because we're not going to need any more events. We've got our best friend. She's heroic over there. She's going to get chopped up first, I think. Okay, so we've done that. We have to move 2 spaces next, and then 1 space again. So that is the sprint done. And I don't really have anything except for a furious strike, a search, and a focus. So I'm going to spend my focus. Oh, I'm just going to ditch my 2 cards, because none of these require me to do damage. So I'm going to ditch my search and furious strike, which turns 1 into a success. And if I've turned 1 into a success, I can reduce the horror for a time. Okay. That is me out of cards. I've got 4 time to spend. I think I need a sprint for 2. And I'm going to take a guard for 2. And then I'll take my 3 cards and repopulate the tableau. Right, we've got this. You know, it's not great, but it could be worse. Right, so we go to the killer, the Tormentor. First of all, we progress traps. So I take a damage. Mandy takes a damage. Secondly, she selects the closest and advances. So she can go onto the racks as normal, I believe. I don't think that there's any restriction. Let me just check. Yeah. So I can find the quickest way by using the racks. So she's going to move once. She only moves one space though, but the closest is... Actually, they're the closest, and she'll always pick the most victims. So she's going to move to there. And then she's going to attack. Nobody on the space, though, so we're okay. So it will come to us. I think I'm doing this right. Okay. We need to move again, so we're going to go for another sprint. It'd be nice if my best friend had come back and helped, wouldn't it? Could do with that focus. I'm going to go with a focus first. I'd like that extra dice. Oh. Right, short rest and weak attack. Turn that into a success. So we reduce the horror. And it costs us a time. I'm only on 4. Oh. Be back up to 6. Okay. Now then, now we're going to sprint. We get our 3 dice. Okay, so 1 success allows us to move 2 spaces. That's what we need for our second. That costs us 1 time. And then we need to move 1 space, so we're going to use a walk. Come on, we could do this. Okay, 2 successes allow us to move 2. We only move 1 though, because we're carefully navigating our way through the maze. So there we go. We are through the maze. So we pop out. This is discarded. And oh, she is going to rue the day that she messed with Mandy. I'm telling you that. Okay, so we've got a walk and a guard left. We really needed to get those guys out. I'm going to walk. And we get 1 success. We can move a space for a time. All we've got left's a guard. And 3 time to spend. So we'll go with... get a kick. Let's get the kick. We're going to hoof her. And we get our free focus back. We can't move, that's our problem. We're going to have to spend a time. Maybe don't get the kick. Get a sprint instead, and a close call. Okay, that goes back up to 6. And we go to the killer. Traps advance, no traps, killer. It's just you and us. She targets the closest, it's this gaggle. Moves in. Attack. Kills 2. Progresses this twice. I have to discard a random action card. It's my guard. Okay. These lot will panic. There's 4 of them in there. Where are they going to end up? 1, 3, 4, 5. So, wow. They totally scattered. Not ideal. Okay. So it comes to us. Not much I actually want to do. Could shepherd a couple of people away, I suppose. Okay. I'll sprint. I'm just going to go onto the space and tool up. Oh. I'll spend my last 2 cards, close call and focus, to turn that into a success. Allows me to move 2 spaces. So I'm just going to go onto the space with the killer. Out of cards. That cost a time. So we've got 5 time. We get our 3 cards and we've got 5 time. So let's go with a retaliate for 4. And a close call for 1. Okay, it goes to the Tormentor, who advances traps. No, targets the closest. That's us. Doesn't need to move. Attacks, we will retaliate. We don't get to add our stuff here. We get 2, so we ignore all damage and do 2. So we'll 2 damage there. And she'll attack again. I have no defensive stuff, so she's going to do 2 damage. So I'm down to 3, and she's got 2, 4, 5. Okay. Comes to us. 6. I think a critical blow could be good. That costs 6, but... Okay, let's see. So, 6. This is us now. So I'm just going to go for a weak attack. Two successes does a damage. However, we get to add 2 damage to attacks without weapons. So it does 3. So the Tormentor's down to 2 versus our 3. But we cannot take 2 attacks. I think we're going to have to take 2 guards, which costs 4 points. Then I think we will spend... no, I'm actually going to do my short rest as well before I spend my points. Oh, it's a fail. A fail. We gain a heart. The horror increases. We lose a time and the turn ends. Okay, so now we've got 1 left, so we might as well take another close call. But then I'm going to actually trade in walk, walk, focus for the kick. We get our free focus back. Everything else goes back in. Right, so in hand we have a focus, 2 close calls, a guard, and a kick. Back up to 6. So, it's going to attack. We really need to save these guards here, or we're in trouble. And we're down to 2 dice. We reduce the damage by 2 for our guard. He's only doing 2 damage, or she, so that's successful. And we're going to guard the second attack. Oof, we fail. So we reduce the damage by 1. So we take 1. Okay. And it comes to us. We can do this now. We've got the kick. So we've got 2 close calls, a focus, and a kick. So we're going to go with the kick. See if we can finish her with a kick. No, I'm going to focus first. So we reduce the horror for a time. Now we're going to kick. 3 dice. 2 successes, does 2 damage, and ends our turn. She's only got 2. So 1. Is she got extra? She hasn't. Get that. You bad egg. Mandy does it for the team. So there you go. The kick to the win. The heroic best friend wasn't very heroic, if we're honest. I think that was good fun. It's quite thematic. I think I'm hoping I did things right. It seems a bit odd that once you get through the terror deck, there are no more traps. Now, I don't know if that's the way it's meant to be. I'm pretty sure I did everything right. There were quite a lot of traps, I suppose. We had reverse bear, guillotine, drowning tank, temple drills, swinging blades. We did really good in rescuing people early. I think that was a good tactic. I didn't bother getting any items because Mandy's ultimate power, ultimate ability of doing the extra damage is like having a weapon anyway. plus twinning it with kick was useful because it meant that the kick does 4 damage, and even weak attack does 3. So yeah, that was good fun. I now get to unlock Mandy's ultimate card, and because the Tormentor's been defeated, I get the epic finale and the epic dark power to shuffle into the pack. I hope you liked that. I am enjoying season 3. I can't wait to put some of these killers on other locations. I'd love to see the traps at Camp Happy Trails. That's just my old, because I've played it so much. I think that's my favourite space still. And again, in here, I'd like to see some different killers walking about this warehouse, see how it plays without the traps. Yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I hope you did too. If you did, please give us a thumb or even a bell for the subscribe, and join us for the next season 3 outing. I'm not sure whether we'll play Don't Make a Sound, Hell to Pay, or The Killer from Tomorrow. If there's a particular one you want to see, let me know, and I'll prioritise it if I've not already started. Thanks again. See you soon.